Everyone, thank you for joining. So, welcome back, second Saturday of the month. So, this is second Saturday of the Gita. I don't know how many people have been, how many devotees have been continuing to join every month, but we are reading Bhagavad Gita. We're on the second chapter, and I'm trying to cover the main concepts because it's not possible to take each and every verse. So, last time we covered the concept of Samkhya Yoga, and today we will hopefully try to get to Karma Yoga. Okay? But before that, let's start with some prayers. Again, I don't know how much time we have. It just depends on the Lord. Whenever God wants to give his darshan, then you have to stop. If we are in the middle of the sentence, we'll stop. So I'll just try to make it quick and try to get to whatever I have planned for today. So let's say very short prayers. Whoever knows, please recite with me. Om Asya Jai Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Okay, so just a quick recap, not spending too much time on the recap. But as you know, Arjun got very confused by the end of chapter 1. He was completely bewildered, ignored what to do, what should I not do, what is my dharma, is this sinful, is this battle sinful to fight? It seems almost criminal if I fight in this battle. So he put down his bow and he had all these emotions come over him. He was crying, he was trembling, there were goosebumps, his voice was shaking, he was crying. So he just sat down on the chariot and put down his Gandhi. And he told Krishna, please you tell me what is my dharma, what is my duty in this particular situation? What will be the best for the greater good? What will be best for most people for the longest time possible? So initially, Krishna chastised him. Krishna admonished Arjun that this kind of confusion that has come upon you is not very befitting you. You are a very learned person. You are a very great Kshatriya, but you are behaving like a coward. You are behaving like an impotent person who has weakness of heart. Yeah? You have lost sight. You have become confused. You should have been clear about your duty in this situation. So Krishna chastised Arjuna. Okay, but he said,
let me start from the very beginning of who we are. Let's start with the very basic knowledge, very elementary, fundamental knowledge of who we are, who a jiva is. Okay. So that's where we discuss the concept of Sankhya Yoga, that we are not this body, we are the soul. Soul is the Satchidanand Swarup. It is part and parcel of Krishna. It is servant of Krishna. It is that spark of consciousness that animates the body. Body is nothing but dead matter without the spirit, without the soul. Okay? So whenever soul leaves the body, there is no use for the body. Body is just dead, right? So that's why we say they have the person has departed to the next destination. Who has departed? The soul has departed. The body is just dead, right? So Krishna basically gave this study or this difference between matter versus spirit. What is matter? What is spirit? We are not the matter. Matter can degrade, which is body. Body is matter. It can degrade, it can get disease, it can degenerate, it can decline, and ultimately die. But spirit does not go through any of those changes. Okay? Spirit is not affected by matter either. Spirit cannot be cut by the sword, it cannot be burned by fire, it cannot become wet by water, it cannot become dry by air. So he gave various qualities and characteristics of the soul. So he basically established for Arjun and for all of us who we are. We are, what is our identity? Our identity is that we are the soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna, we belong to him. So then he said, if you understand, and can somebody, so this discussion went on till verse 30. In verse 29, Krishna finally concluded this portion of Sankhya Yoga by saying that don't you think soul is so amazing, soul is so wonderful, it's extraordinary, and many people cannot understand the soul, right? Most people think we are this body, but look at all the things I told you about the soul. Soul is so amazing. So that's what he says in 29. In 30th, he finally says, okay, so now to understand, soul cannot be slain. So why are you grieving about killing these people? Hmm? Because when we get a body, we have a purpose to fulfill with that body, right? Every soul gets a body to fulfill a purpose in this world. These people have deviated from their purpose. They were given such high positions, they were given so much power and wealth and armies to command and kingdom to run. And they misused their position and they turned into criminals. They turned into violent, aggressive people. So they're not using the body properly. So today they need to be rid of their bodies on this battlefield. They need to be unfortunately killed. And you are the instrument in this killing. You are the instrument in this fight. You have to kill these adharmic people who are misusing this body given by me in aggressive way. So why should you grieve when you are fulfilling your duty to your body? These people are not. Okay? You're not killing the actual jiva. They will move on to the next destination. You're just stopping their sinful activities in this body. So this is where Krishna finished this concept of Sankhya Yoga in verse 30. Is that clear? Right? So then Krishna says, but even if you are, very much attached to, let's say, what will happen to you, what will people think about you, even if you are very worried about what will be the consequences of this fight, you are somebody that's very attached to the outcome, right? Who here is very attached to the outcome of their actions? I think most people are very attached. When we do something and we're very attached to the consequence, we should care about consequences. We should care about the outcome somewhat, right? So if you are attached to the outcome, attached to the results, even then you should know that if you fight versus don't fight, what will be the consequences? Let me tell you. And this portion of Bhagavad Gita is called Sakam Karma. So Krishna is now teaching, before Nishkam Karma Yoga, Krishna is teaching the principle of Sakam Karma. Okay, by doing an action, what is the result? So he said, there are two options for you. One option is you can fight, the other option is not fight. Okay. If you fight, there are two possibilities. What are the possibilities? You will either win or you will lose, right? Okay, let's say Arjun is saying, I don't want to fight. Let's say you don't fight. You know what will be the consequences of that? People will mock you. Henceforth, now for the ages to come, people will mock you. People will call you names. They will call you coward. That this man who had all the skills, all the power, all the strength to win this battle, he ran away from this battle and he allowed these adharmic people to rule. So they will call you a coward. Okay. They will make fun of you. They will make fun of your family. You will lose your reputation. You will lose your honor. Your whole family will lose their honor. Okay. And you think by fighting this war, you are going to get sin? Actually, the truth is by not fighting this war, by not fighting this battle, by neglecting your duty, neglecting your responsibility, actually you will get sin. So he corrected Arjuna's understanding that fighting this battle is not sinful. Not fighting this battle is sinful because it was your responsibility to kill these people and you ran away from it. That will be a source of infamy, of dishonor, of mockery, of people be calling you names and sins. So you will get a lot of negative karma for this. So this will be the consequences of not fighting. But if you fight, there is no loss. And again, we are discussing sakam karma. So Krishna said, if you fight, there will be no loss. Why? Because if let's say Arjun loses, what will happen? You fought a very righteous battle. You upheld your responsibility to the best of your ability. You tried your best, right? And then if you lost, there is no problem. You will still go to the heavenly kingdoms. You will enjoy in the higher planets, in the celestial planets. You will get all the provisions, all the resources for enjoyment. You will get honor. Your family will be honored because you try to fight in this war on my behalf. So there is no loss if you even lost this battle. And if you won this battle, is there a loss? No, because you will enjoy the kingdom, you will rule the kingdom as you want. Your brother will be on the throne, who's the Dharmaraj Yudhishthir, right? He will be ruling according to my instructions, according to Dharma, and you will enjoy the kingdom with your brothers. So there is no loss. So in fighting, whether you lose or win, there is no loss, but in not fighting, there will be only loss. So in this way, Krishna gave this concept that even if in this particular condition, if you are somebody, and we are all like that, we are not Nishkam Karmi yet, right? We are very attached to the outcomes, to the results, to the consequences. So if you care very much about the outcome and results, even then it will be your best, it will be best for you if you fought in this war. So this was shortly given, this was given from verse 31 to 37. Now can somebody read the verse 38 for me? Just the translation. So now we're transitioning. So we transition from Sankhya Yoga to Sakam Karma. And now we are going to transition from Sakam Karma to Nishkam Karma Yoga. Let's see how that goes.
Jai Sri Krishna. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by doing so, you shall never incur sin.
So basically, Krishna says, but I don't want you to consider all this loss and gain, all this victory and defeat, or I don't want you to consider all this pluses and minuses of this action. I want you to fight without considering whether there will be victory or gain or happiness or distress or success or failure in this path. Okay, I want you to do this action, do this work for me. I want you to do this for my pleasure, for my satisfaction, in service of me. Okay, do that action for my satisfaction, not for your own self gains or personal agendas or personal satisfaction. Don't do it for yourself. Don't keep yourself in the center while doing this work. Do this action for me. And what is that principle called? That's called Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? So doing something for the pleasure of Krishna, that is called Krishna consciousness, that is a Krishna-centered life, where we are trying to just please the senses of Krishna, not our own senses, not just our own. We are not small-minded, we are not miserly, we are not worried about small gains and small losses, we are worried about the big man, the supreme person, the ultimate absolute truth, whether he will be peace or not. So we do everything, do our very best for him, and that is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. So then, before going into the details of Nishkam Karma Yoga, Krishna says, but this is not easy. Is it easy to work for Krishna? We don't know him. We don't have any, people, we are sitting here, we don't have any tangible relationship with Krishna. We don't know who he is, what he looks like, right? So we want to work for our family. We want to work for our senses. I want to enjoy in this world. I want to travel. I want to get some money. I want to have some bank balance. I want to have some cars and a huge mansion to live in, right? I want all these things. I don't want to work for Krishna. I don't know him. Why should I work for a boss that I don't even know? So Krishna said, this will not be easy to work for me. It will require a lot of determination. It will require one pointed focus and one pointed determination to work for me. And he calls this concept, this is called Vyavasyatmika Buddhi. So Krishna says basically in verse 41 that this path is very hard for people who are distracted in this world. People who are very much entangled in the enjoyments and sense gratification, it will be hard for them to follow. So you have to have determination. So he says, please, whoever knows this verse, please recite 2.41. Vyavasyatmika buddhi ekaha kurunandana bahushatha niyanatashta buddhayo avyavasayam. So Vyavasyatmika buddhi means business-minded intelligence. Okay? Who are businessmen here? Are there any tradesmen or businessmen? Anybody has their own? I'm sure there are many people who have their own businesses, right? They have your own stores or right. So business-minded means being very worried about gains and losses, right? So, but just now Krishna said we should not consider so much about gains and losses as an action. Now he's saying to worry about gains and losses become Vyavasyatmika. So Vyavasyatmika means be worried about whether it's going to please me or not. Be very like a businessman is worried about only gains in this world. You should only worry about the eternal gain in this world. Okay, don't worry about the material problems or difficulties or losses. Just worry about the eternal gain. Eternal gain will be pleasing me. Okay, this is the essential message of Bhagavad Gita, to live a life in such a way that it pleases Krishna and then go back to Godhead. Everybody has to die. Is that true?
Yes.
Does Arjuna have to die?
Yes.
Is Dhritarashtra going to die? Is Duryodhan going to die? Right? They are all going to die. Right? Maybe Duryodhan will die in this war today, but Arjun will also die in, let's say, 20 years, 30 years. He's also going to die. Everybody has to die. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad aparyahariyate natvam shochitam arhasi. So Krishna says that in Sankhya Yoga that everybody has to die, but you live your life in such a way that it pleases me, that it is every action that you do is for my service, my satisfaction. Don't worry so much about material losses and gains, because in the course of your profession, in the course of your activities, in the course of your responsibilities and duties, there will inevitably be some losses, some gains. You will not be able to please everyone. There will be some expectations you will not be able to meet, right? There will always be difficulties and problems. Don't worry so much about that. Just do your best, your due diligence, carry out your responsibility to the 100% of your ability, right? Use your intelligence, your senses, your discrimination, your resources, and give your best, time and energy and everything to an action, and do your best, please. And do that best for me, not worried so much about whether it will give me name or followers or money or promotion or gain. Don't worry so much about the result. Okay. So if you live your life in such a way, then that is called one-pointed intelligence, where you're only focused in serving me, in satisfying me. That is Vyavasyatmika Buddhi. So don't be worried about the distraction, Bhoga Aishwarya. So then he says there are two types of distraction in this world. One is Bhoga, other is Aishwarya. Bhoga means people are very consumed about their sense gratification. Everybody just wants Bhoga. Everybody just wants to satisfy their senses. That's why we work mostly. Mostly people are working because they want to satisfy their senses. They want to enjoy in this world. Enjoyment. Bhoga is enjoyment. Aishwarya is the material opulences, like prosperity, very rich, luxurious life, right? Opulences or splendorous life, that I want to live a very wealthy type of comfortable lifestyle. That is Aishwarya. So Krishna says, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. People that are very attached to Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. Taya Partha Chetasam Vyavasyatmika Buddhi Samabhav Navihiyate. That Vyavasyatmika Buddhi is not possible for people who are very attached to the Bhoga and Aishwarya of this world. So, as we are trying to follow Krishna's instruction, we understand Krishna said, Sakam Karma, you can do, that's okay, but that's a lower principle. Rather, I want you to work for me. But working for me is not easy. It will take a lot of determination. It will take one-pointed intelligence. In that determination, there will be some distractions. What will be the distraction? Bhoga and Aishwarya. Okay, so be careful of this too much temptations of this world, too many allurements in this world. Every few days, some advertisement comes on the TV that tells you to buy this or do that, or some neighbor gets something and now we also want that, right? Or somebody at work has something. some type of clothes or jewelry or lifestyle that they're living in. We want that lifestyle also. So be very careful when you live in this world and don't get tempted. Then he said there is one more distraction. Okay, one more distraction that happens in the life of pious people. What is that distraction? So sometimes we are working, but we decide we'll give portion of that work, portion of that results for some Vedic rituals or ceremonies to please the Devi Devtas, to please the demigods, okay, to please the authorities of this material world, the various supervisors of this material world. And what is our goal when we do those type of rituals and ceremonies? We want better body, we want, let's say, we want to beget a child, we want a spouse, we want more comforts, we want a promotion, right? Or maybe people pray for next life, that maybe next life I get to live in a heavenly body or get a better birth or better status, reputation, etc. So for various reasons, people approach the Devi Devtas and do a lot of various Vedic yajna ceremonies, etc. for a short-term gain, for a material benefit, for a material gain. Krishna said it's okay. That is part of Vedic. That is part of our Vedas. Our Vedic authorities have given those routes for you to enjoy. But ultimately, what are you doing? You are still engaged in Bhoga and Ashwarya only. You are still just trying to make your life comfortable in this material world. It is not liberation. Liberation can only be given by Mukunda, the giver of liberation. But you are approaching the authorities or supervisors of this world to get comforts in this world only. So you will stay in this world. So example given, for example, this world is compared to a prison. Okay, this is a prison. We have been all sent here for reformation, for transformation. Now, in prison, there are some prisoners that may be following the rules, very disciplined. They may be trying to please the authorities, the warden, the jailer, right? So that particular prisoner, let's say the good ones, they will get some better cell, better provisions in the cell, right? They may get some better food, or maybe they get a mattress in their cell. Maybe they get some air conditioner in their cell. And let's say the bad ones are punished and, they are defying the authority. So they are given a dark room and they live in very horrible conditions. But whether you are a good prisoner following the authorities, right, or trying to please the authorities, or whether you are a bad prisoner, ultimately you are still in the prison. Is that right? You still, because the authority, the warder or the jailer did not have the qualification, did not have the authority to let you out of the prison. Similarly, in this world, you can try to make your life comfortable by approaching the Devi Devtas. It's okay. The provisions are given to you. You can make your life comfortable. But ultimately, the message of Bhagavad Gita is not that. The message of Bhagavad Gita is to get out of the prison, to get out of this world by approaching the only person that can get you out of here, which is the supreme authority, Mukunda, the giver of liberation. Unless you approach him, if you approach his servants who are subservient to him, you will still be in the jail because they do not have authority to let you out, right? So good things in this world are okay, but they're just not good enough. Okay, the best is to get out of here. So it's not good enough to just stay in the prison and enjoy the facility. Okay, we can enjoy. You get another example given is like, let's say a train, right? In a train, somebody may ask for a better coach. So maybe they get a first class coach, right? And somebody else is enjoying the third class coach. So you may have better facilities, you may get a first class coach, but you're still in the train, right? You're still on a journey, you're not reached the destination. The goal of Bhagavad Gita is to get you to the destination, so you're not just stuck in the prison, not just stuck in the train, right? So Krishna says this is another distraction that pious people will face, which is to approach Devi Devta according to Vedic principles in making their life, either this life or next life, comfortable. And that is a problem in Nishkam Karma Yoga because they are still asking for things. They are still asking for desires. They still have wishes to fulfill. They still have things to get in this world. And that is not good enough either. So he said, so be careful of these distractions, the Vedic distractions and the other distractions of Karmi people like enjoyments and opulence, Bhoga and Ashwa. So with that, Krishna comes to 2.47. Okay. Can somebody please read 46 before we come to the most famous verse 47? Please read 46. Translation. Okay, continue.
All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them.
Okay. So Krishna gave an analogy that all purposes served by a small well can be served by a great reservoir of body. So he said, you don't need to do all these things, all these Devi Devta worship, all these yajna, all these things, because the small well can fulfill the same purpose that a great well can. If you have a great pond, right, it can give you much more water than a small well can. So small well cannot give you enough what a great pond can. Similarly, the Supreme Person, who is your loving Father, can fulfill all your wishes that you have. No need to approach the subservient authorities, because with them you will only get comfortable in this world, not the ultimate liberation, right? It's like approaching a millionaire versus somebody who has only $1,000. If you want, let's say, if I want $10,000, the person who has only $1,000 cannot give it to me, but a millionaire can give it to me. So the purpose of a small well will be automatically achieved by approaching a great reservoir of water. So Krishna said, approach the great reservoir of water. Yeah. So then he comes to 2.47, and I think most of you will probably know this. Let's recite it at least 2 times. Let's recite. Please try to memorize it if you don't. This verse, every verse here has 4 lines, okay? In this verse, each line tells you a principle, and I'm going to try to cover all the 4 principles mentioned in the 4 lines of this verse. So please recite with me. Karmanyadhikarasте ma phaleshu kadachana ma karmapal heturgur ma te sangosva karmani. Once more. Karmanyadhikarasте ma phaleshu kadachana ma karmapal heturgur ma te sangosva karmani. So, what is Krishna saying? This is a very famous verse, even in non Indian or non-devotional circles, right? I'm sure many people are familiar with this. So let's understand 4 things. If I have time, we'll see. So first line is saying karmanyavadhikaraste, which means you are only entitled to the action or to the work. Okay. Ma phaleshu kadachan. You are not entitled to the result. Okay, let's understand these 2 principles. You are only entitled to the action means in your control. Intelligent people in this world, even the best of the leaders, motivational speakers, influencers, they will tell you that we should focus on what is in our control. Okay, what is in our control? There is an action and there is a result. Action is in our control, result is not in our control. Okay. So Krishna said, you are entitled to the action, to the process. How you do the action is in your hand, is in your control. I can do the action to the best of my ability, with joyfully, with focus, with concentration, give my time, right? Give my energy, be very active in doing something. That is all in my control. Nobody can stop me from doing my best possible. Is that true? Right? I can give my action my 100%. Now, despite doing that action, whether the desired result comes or not is not up to me. The result is decided by many different factors. There are many variables that decide the result. Okay, your previous karma, maybe karma of other people involved in that action. Maybe this is not something you deserve right now. Krishna may decide this is not something they deserve or they need right now. Maybe they need something else. So Krishna may give you something other than desire. So your desired result may or may not come despite your best action, because the result was never in your hands, right? It's like, for example, I ask Mataji for 100 rupees. I can, appease her, please her, try to do, really appreciate her, and then she will, whether or not she gives me $100 is up to her. She may not have it, but she does not want to give me. She thinks it's not good for me right now to get $100. She knows by nature that I may waste it if I get it right now. Maybe I need to purify myself. I need to become something different before she will give me that $100. So since it's not in my control, I cannot decide the result. Okay? The result is not in your control. What happens is, when we become results oriented, when we just do an action for the sake of results, it brings a lot of anxiety, right? It brings a lot of anxiety because you may do your best, okay? And it's possible you may not get the result, okay? So you will always be anxious. Will this happen or will this not happen? Huh? Somebody else who put half the effort may still get a better result than you, right? It's possible. And even when the result comes, until the result comes, you're very anxious. And then when the result comes, if it was desired, if it was so-called positive result, you will become very puffed up, right? You will become very proud. I did this, right? It happened because of me, right? We all have this doership mentality. We think I'm the doer. I brought this result. So we become very arrogant. Let's say very proud of it. And if the desired result did not come, if it was a so-called negative result, then we become very depressed, very morose or discouraged. We may not do that action again. Is that true or not? So this is what happens when we are very result oriented. People either become very anxious or they become very puffed up, very proud and arrogant, or they become very depressed, very morose and discouraged when the result does not come. So even in today's modern world, the teaching is that we should be process oriented and not outcome oriented. We should not care so much about the result. All you can do is focus on what is in your control, which is the action. So this is karmanyavadikaste. You are only entitled to the action. Ma phaleshu kadachan, never to the result. Now, ma phaleshu kadachan has another understanding also, that even when you get the result, it is not for your enjoyment. Okay? The result is not meant for your own personal gratification. The result should be very graciously offered to Krishna. It should be done, the job should be done for Krishna, keeping in mind that Krishna is my master. That's with that mindset, with that mentality, the job should be done, and the result, whatever good or bad is coming, you give that result to Krishna. Okay, so that is also another important understanding, that we do not have claim over the result. Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. He is the ultimate proprietor and maintainer of everything. So he has claim on everything that we do. So if we are doing anything with this body, we are doing anything, the body was given by him. So the results that come out of the actions from this body, those results also belong to him. They're not yours to enjoy. So you have to remember Sankhya Yoga, you are the servant. You are not the master. You're not the enjoyer. You cannot lay claim on the result. As soon as you lay claim on the results, what happens? You become entangled. You get reactions now. Now you will get positive or negative reaction because you wanted to enjoy the good or bad result. So you will now get a good or bad reaction. You will stay in this material world, in this cycle of birth and death, because you wanted to enjoy that result. Okay? So this is karmanyavadikaste ma phaleshu kadachan. You can take an example in this situation. Let's say I have a driver. Okay, so I am the driver's employer or master. I give him some money to go buy groceries for me. Okay, his job is to drive the car to the best of his ability, take that money, do whatever negotiation is needed with the grocery man, with the shopkeeper, buy the best vegetables, right? Buy the best fruits and bring them back and give to the master, right? Now, if he thinks I have claim over this grocery, this money was given to me, this car was given to me, I go off and enjoy in the car and take that money and do whatever, or he buys the grocery and then makes food for himself. What is he doing? He is stealing. So Krishna says very clearly, if you do not offer the results to me, if you work for yourself, because I gave you everything and you took it away and you started doing things for yourself, what are you doing? Stealing. Okay? So you will get a reaction. Okay? Even if you did that job to the best of your ability, even if it was a good thing to do, you will get good results, you will get good reactions, you are still entangled. If you did something bad, you will get bad results, you are still entangled. The goal is to get rid of both good and bad results. Okay, so ma phaleshu kadachan, do everything for Krishna. And then what does he say? The third line? Ma karma phal hetu. Okay, this is very important. Do not karma phal hetu. You are not the hetu of the karma phal. You are not the cause. You are not the reason the result happened. You are not why this result came. So you cannot take credit. Okay, so if something good or bad happens, you cannot take credit for something good, and when something bad happens, mostly people will just blame others or other Krishna, right? They'll just blame. So you cannot take credit or lay blame when a result happens, because this is not just your doing. There are multiple variables, multiple doers, multiple factors involved in it that led to a good or bad result. So neither you're not completely responsible for a bad result, and you are not completely cannot get all the credit just for a good result either. So, ma karma hetu, do not think you are the doer. Okay, so doership mentality you have to get rid of. And then the fourth thing, very important thing, which Arjun is trying to do, Krishna says no to that also. He says, Mate sangostva akarmani. Do not get attached to not doing the action or not doing the work either. Because what happens is we think, okay, I cannot enjoy the result, okay? Like, for example, the driver can tell the master, I cannot use this money to buy groceries for myself. I cannot take the car to drive off and travel for myself. So I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. So do not be attached to not doing your duty. Do not be attached to not doing your duty, which do not neglect your duty. You still have to do the action. You still have to do your due diligence. You still have to do that action responsibly. Even though you do not have any claim for enjoying that result, you still have to do that action. Why? Because you are a servant of Krishna, you have a duty, you have a purpose in this world, and so you have to do that action to the best of your ability. So do not get attached to not doing your duty either. Okay, and what not doing your duty will do what? Will bring you negative reaction, which will bring you sinful reaction. So somebody, let's say a mother says, this child is never going to say thanks to me, so I'm not going to feed this child, I'm not going to change his diaper, I'm not going to, wake up in the night to feed this baby because the baby is not going to say thanks to me tomorrow morning. So I'll just neglect him. What is that? This is neglectful. This is not doing your responsibility or your due diligence, so you will get negative reaction. So never be attached to not doing your duty. These are the 4 principles in 2.47. Okay, so I think we covered a lot of ground. Please try to learn 2.47. Thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Aashta Bhakti Vijay Kripa Siddhi Jai Patita Naam Bhavani Duration. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mahasi, how are you?
Feeling well?
Sorry, I'm
Good to see
going
you.
to stop this.
See you. Come after all. Yes.
When did you come here? We came